Hello everybody and welcome to another amazing video of DIY investing. Today we are going to be talking about C Network and SUI Network, two of the very best performing chains over the last month, and two that I believe are going to be front running this cycle for all of the layer ones out there. Every cycle I'm always early to a number of layer ones, and as I'm going through that entire bull run, I'm reminded every time that these are oftentimes the highest returning assets that we can find. Layer ones are an entire ecosystem where new liquidity can be added, which ultimately causes the native chain token to rise with it. Today, I'm going to be mapping out two of my favorite layer ones going into this cycle, why I think that they're destined for such massive runs, and what are some of my favorite plays inside of the ecosystem that I think could provide 100x gains. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you find any value in this video, please do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. Without further ado, let's jump right into this amazing video today. Alrighty everybody, here we are to start off today's video, going through the charts of SUI, going over the C ecosystem as well. I wanted to go through today and just give you guys some examples of how these cycles end up playing out, the way that I've seen them play out across the board on some of my best returning investments, and I'm going to help you guys visualize the way that this cycle is going to actually go, because I think that this is going to really help you make the most profit over the course of our entire 2025 blow off top. When we're talking about SUI, I see an ecosystem that is going to really front run and probably end up doing what Solana did in that last cycle. From my last updates, we were still just initially breaking out over in this period here, and I talked about how I was anticipating us to actually run all the way to new all-time highs. And we can see that we've been steadily increasing higher highs and higher lows, and we did finally make a new all-time high. Obviously, it was only for a short while as we pulled back down, back within this same prior range. But when we're watching this, this is more or less what I was anticipating moving into this cycle. The whole reason I was so bullish on it was because if we're coming over here and actually taking a look at the cycles from prior cycles, every single bull run, it doesn't matter which one it was, going all the way back to 2016 and 2017 when Ethereum was added, we pretty much had Bitcoin was the driver of value. Bitcoin made these crazy parabolic cycles, and then the next piece of technology to be developed that got adoption was Ethereum. Ethereum came on and it ended up following pretty much the same type of parabolic formula that Bitcoin had been on. And it really followed even the same type of price structure that Bitcoin did. And what I've noticed as time has gone on, we always see certain layer ones come onto the scene and outperform the rest of the market in a bigger way. And then from there, we end up just seeing repetitive cycles that repeat over time. When we're looking at SUI, it looked identical to pretty much where I was accumulating Solana at the last cycle. The only difference being was, Solana made a little bit of a bigger run into a new all-time high. This one has been more or less just consolidating ever since it was listed over in this period. But nonetheless, both setups are relatively the same. What we ended up seeing from Solana was it bottomed over here at about a little over $1, and then it ran all the way from $1 to 60 bucks, so $61, over a 60x run in that one move. So when we're talking about the way that Solana developed, the way Solana developed really wasn't any different than even the way that Ethereum developed in its first cycle. If we come all the way back to 2017, we're going to see a lot of those same exact setups where we get added to exchanges, you make that first little pump. The same thing happened over here with Solana is what happened to Ethereum back in 2017. And then in the same point that Solana went from $1 to 60 in one big move, Ethereum went from $6 to $450, following the exact same type of fractal. And then what does Solana do? It consolidates inside of this triangle and then breaks bullish, going for its final blow off top there. What does Ethereum do? Well, it consolidates inside of this triangle and then breaks bullish into its final blow off top. So we see the same patterns being repeated. It doesn't matter how the cycle in and of itself can look, the price action might vary, but what we notice is the best returning altcoins, they end up doing these first cycles and they just go absolutely bananas. And that has been my main thesis for why I'm so bullish on SUI. Now when I'm looking at SUI, we come out to a weekly time frame. SUI is just currently retesting this entire prior all-time high range. And the question is coming, well, is it going to act as new support? And I still think we could see, a further dip. We could come all the way back down and touch these candle bodies on the weekly time frames. Because if that was the case, you know, all I'm anticipating is that this is a major retest. Look at all of the new volume that came in here. We flipped the prior all-time highs. Yeah, we're seeing a pullback, but these are the type of pullbacks you want to buy. Anytime we've broken into a new all-time high with volume to match, and you're getting a pullback back to those prior levels, it's kind of your last opportunity to accumulate before we blow up. And like I stated, guys, when I'm looking at SUI, it has all of the same similarities as what Solana did in the last cycle. There's more money in it, its market cap is higher, so, you know, maybe the ROI won't be exactly the same. However, I still think it's going to have a plenty big run. And when we're talking about these things, the question comes, well, you know, I don't have that much money to throw at these cryptos. I don't really want to buy anything that has too high of a market cap. What are your thoughts on SUI? And to be honest, at this point, I mean, me and my group, we were accumulating this all the way back down in here, and then we accumulated over in here before it started breaking out. And realistically, we even bought some over in this first little dip. So we've kind of been buying this the entire way. Now that it's sitting in a new all-time high, I'm not personally buying anymore. But what I don't think is a bad idea is taking low leverage longs, maybe a 2 to 3x long, and then really just not risking that much capital to do it, because that was a way I made a lot of money in the last cycle. Seeing a trend shift on a weekly time frame, keep in mind we still have pretty much the full week to go before this closes. A lot can happen in a week in crypto. But understanding is we're watching this. If we do hold this support, we're most likely going for a pretty decent move into new all-time highs. And then another opportunity aside from leverage for people that don't want to mess with it, one of the things I'm looking at in the SUI ecosystem are pretty much what are going to be those top altcoins that run the hardest. If you guys look at every single chain, which I'm just going to do this for the sake of this video really quickly, but if you go to every chain on Deck Screener, Solana, and if you sort by the top volume, all of these are meme coins. Every single one of these are meme coins. There is not anything in the top volume on all of these chains that is a legitimate project. Even if you come to Ethereum, the DeFi epicenter, everything is a meme coin. I don't see anything until Chainlink ranked number 14 in top volume. That's where we're at in this cycle. So it doesn't matter which chain you're looking at. I dare you to go and look at every single one of these. All of the tokens that have the top volume are memes. So my idea for this cycle is obviously just going to be play the meme coin for however long that lasts. You know, whether it only lasts into a short while, into new all-time highs, so be it. But what I'm looking at inside of every ecosystem are what are going to be some of those tokens to run the hardest. And with all of the money consolidating into meme coins, you don't really have a choice but to play the game. Otherwise, you're just kind of passing up a good narrative to trade. Because I don't care what I'm buying in a bull run. I do research fundamentally to try and find good projects and bring those to you guys. But I'm not, opposed to the idea of buying and speculating on a meme coin. When we're seeing that all of the volume is in meme coins, you really kind of owe it to yourself to at least participate to some extent. There's going to be people that are so close-minded by the fact, but I've opened my mind to it, and I've made a lot of money trading these meme coins lately, and it's really just shown me that with all the volume consolidating here, you've pretty much got to just follow which narrative is playing and then trade those along the way to realize the biggest gain. And FUD the Pug is going to be the top dog meme coin on the SUI chain, and it's been following the price of SUI perfectly. Now when I'm looking at this, we are pulling back in here, but notice how much volume came in on the breakout. There's more volume on this breakout than even what SUI had, in comparison of the chart, not necessarily real volume, because this only has 1 million in liquidity. But we're seeing this thing making that same run to all-time highs. If we're looking at SUI, it's going to consolidate here on this weekly range, and we're going to see the same thing happen for FUD the Pug. The question I have is I really see two scenarios. Scenario one is we're going to actually end up bottoming pretty much right where we're at. We're pretty much just retesting those prior all-time highs once again. So we're either going to bottom now, so I don't think it's a bad time to buy, or we'll make one more lower low, come back to this prior resistance as new support, get a buyback, and then that's where it's going to send into a new all-time high. Those are the scenarios that I see for FUD the Pug. But when we're talking about a 37 million market cap, and you look at all of the top meme coins on these other chains like Solana, even Ethereum has some really high-valued meme coins, I do believe that if we're going to experience a SUI type or a Solana type run for SUI, then I think that a lot of these meme coins are going to get really overvalued as well. We look at some of the top meme coins on these chains, they're already worth $1 billion in market cap. Some of them are worth multi-billions in market cap. Something worth 38 or 37 million in market cap. These have the full potential to at least hit a 10x, which would be 378 million in market cap. And then they have a real potential of even going higher than that. If this were to hit $1 billion in market cap, that's still a really big gain, and I don't think that you're, left out by any means. So I really think that this is probably the best setup that I've found on the SUI chain, because when you're looking at the SUI chain, everything is meme coins for the most part, and I think that that's the most important thing to remember. When we're looking at where the volume is, it's going to be in meme coins for the short term, but there will be new projects, real projects, and I still think we need to be doing our part by researching what those are. Coming over here and taking a look at C, this is the other one that I believe is going to be doing the exact same things as SUI. The difference is it's sitting all the way back down here, still at the disbelief phase, I would call it, of its market cycle. When we're looking at SUI, and we come into a shorter time frame like the daily, remember when we first started breaking out, we had just flipped this downtrending resistance, and then we consolidated here before the big breakout? I do believe that that's exactly where C is today. Because if we're comparing the two, this thing's already broken out of that downtrending resistance, and we've pretty much just popped up here and are waiting before we go into that next move. And I do believe that that is what comes next. The same type of consolidation as what we just saw with SUI, except it's going to be happening here with C, because it's going to just follow what SUI does. These, in my opinion, are going to be two of the best returning assets for layer ones to follow, because they have all of the same similarities as what Solana did, as what Ethereum did, and all we can really do is follow that ecosystem to see what it does. Now, when I'm looking at the C chart, it looks identical to the Wall Street cheat sheet, and if we pull that chart up, this will pretty much explain what I'm talking about. The Wall Street cheat sheet is one of the things that I first learned when getting into crypto, where everything kind of started to make sense, where I could actually finally profitably trade the markets. I started to see how so many of these markets will make these little cycles. And when you trade these cycles, it's really a good way to make profit when you don't know a lot about the market. And when we're looking at C and we're looking at the Wall Street cheat sheet, I do believe that we're at this exact moment of the disbelief phase, where if you notice, the disbelief phase happens twice. It happens right here at the beginning of a new bull market, and then it happens right here at the reversal of a bear market, because we're downtrending, 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 downtrending. We break out here, we flip horizontal resistance right here, and then we go into the new high. That's why it's exactly at the bottom of this cycle. It's because you see it happen two times. It's at the reversal of a downtrend. So when we're looking at the disbelief phase of a cycle, and I'm comparing it to what the C chart shows, I believe we finished the euphoria. That was what we saw over here at the beginning of the year, is that this was complacency, and then this was our final shakeout. Capitulation, anger, depression, and then you get to the disbelief, where you've broken out of the downtrending resistance, you've more or less just flipped horizontal resistance as well in one go, and now the market's about to go into a new high, similarly as what it did right over here at the beginning of this last cycle. So that's the way we're trading these markets. We know that they follow these same similarities every single time. So the best thing that we can do is be early to the token itself. If we feel like we have less capital to spare and we want to go a little bit more higher risk, then at that point you're going into the ecosystem itself and looking for low cap market plays, or looking for what's the top DEX, anything like that. We're just trying to find a good narrative to follow, be early to the system before the liquidity comes, because once all that upside sets in and the liquidity bridges on chain, everybody makes all of the money in that move. So when I'm coming over here and looking at one of my favorite tokens in the C chain, you can't really look any further than Saiyan. It's like the meme for Dragon Ball Z. When I'm looking at this chart, it really does look exceptionally bullish. We've broken out of all downtrending resistance. That was what we did here. We retested it as support, and then we noticed that we've built a double bottom formation, because when we see a double bottom formation, it shows an entire trend reversal. So basically your target is the prior all-time high, and that's what we're looking at when we're just breaking out. Now, in the same ways that I shared with you guys the disbelief phase, how it just starts breaking out and then everybody kind of just expects it to die out again, nobody thinks twice about it, but that's right before the big cycle starts. We're looking at the same thing with Saiyan. It's going to just end up following what C does. And when I'm seeing this, so many C's, when I'm seeing this, retesting this support, this is where we bought into my group. So we're already up a little bit in profit, but I don't think that it's, overvalued by any means. We're currently retesting this prior high as new support. I do believe that we're about to get a much bigger impulse here soon, but once we can get above this level here at about 2 cents, retest that, I do believe we're going to run all the way up to about 5 cents. and you're looking at some pretty decent returns to those levels. I mean, this would be about a 2x. Looking at this one, that would be 4x almost. So you're talking some really big gains running all the way up to these resistance levels. And to be honest, because we already broke out from the double bottom, your target's the prior all-time high. So I'm going to be holding this to new all-time highs, not really looking to do anything besides hold it. I do believe that with Bitcoin breaking out, about to be going upwards of 100,000, we're going to see these meme coins really get, balloon to crazy valuations, and they're going to make big impulses to new all-time highs. And then that's really where you want to be looking to take your profits. I'm not looking to sell these below these prior all-time highs because I have full expectations that C is going to run to a new all-time high. And if you look at the chart, they look similar, right? Obviously, one is just a lot more volatile, which you expect in the meme coins, or any low cap for that matter. Anytime they're liquidity bonded, which these are, C and C, and that means that the prices are going to rise and fall together. Because it has such a smaller market cap and liquidity, if C goes down, this is going to go down even more. However, the inverse, if we see C go up, this is going to go up even more. And that's the power of liquidity bonding. That's why we kind of follow these little meme coins at the beginning, because if we're early at the beginning of the trend reversals, once they get really crazy parabolic and everybody gets excited, that's where we're looking to take profits. So watch out for this ecosystem. I think it's going to blow up in a big way. Same thing for SUI. SUI is one of my favorite picks going into this bull run. We've already made some good profit off of this initial run up. I think we're up about 40% from when I started talking about it on YouTube. So make sure you guys go do your research, bridge over to these different projects, go and check out the chain. At the end of the day, I can only tell you from my personal experience, but I've had a lot of fun over on the C chain, and it really has been, in my opinion, probably the most valuable chain I've used because it's just so quick, instantaneous transactions. I get the best of all of the Cosmos chains with CosmWasm. I can swap between all of those different layer ones that are built on CosmWasm, and then I can also go and use all of the EVM stuff that's from the EVM chains. And that's kind of the power of C, is it unites all of these chains in one, and I do think that it's going to make an absolutely massive run. So check them out. I'm going to link stuff in the description, like the contract addresses for the coins so you can find them. I'll link the chain where I actually swapped for all of these. You can do cross-chain swaps. It's really easy. But yeah, I'll link everything in the description so you can find it. With that being said, I love you guys. I appreciate you. Looking to get some good gains on all of these. I know if you've bought them watching this video so far, you're already up in profit, but now's the time where I think that these are going to break out even more, so you need to pay attention. Thank you so much for the support. I will catch you guys in the next one. As always, peace out.